All right, so let's get started with the presentation. So today we're looking at exploring digital literacy through the use of animation and interactive slides. We're going to have 3 days of workshops. So for today, we're going to be focusing on interactive slides creation. So we're basically going to be creating these interactive slides from scratch using Google Classroom. These are the objectives. So these for today's workshop, we're going to be exploring the versatility of interactive slides. We're going to be looking at how interactive slides are created. So by the end of this workshop, you guys should be able to create your own interactive slides. And we're going to be working in groups. All right, so now we're going to be looking at different types of interactive slides that you can create. But before we do that, let's just look at some uses of interactive slides. So you can use them to create games, you can use them to create worksheet and assessment, as well as you can use it as a meet and greet activity for the first day of school, that sort of thing, right? So let's look at some interactive slide ideas now. So these are some of the slides that we're going to be making, or we're going to learn how to make today. And this is beginners friendly as well as intermediate. If you're an advanced teacher with ICT, I'm going to be showing you an example of a type of interactive slide that you can make if you're an advanced teacher. All right, so let's jump into some interactive slide ideas now. I'm just going to minimize my screen because for these type of slides, it works best like this. All right, so this is the first type of slide that you can create. And this is very ideal for like the basic school teachers. So for this one, I embedded an audio in there. And so once the students click on the slide, the audio will play. So let me just let you have a listen. Above each nest is a number. Drag and drop the eggs into each nest that correlates with the number that is above it. So your students would be able to play that audio and then follow the instructions. I already went ahead and drag them and place them in the nest. I'm going to remove them. I totally forgot that. I was playing around with it and I did not remember to put them back. So just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to be showing you how the students would be able to interact with it. So just as the instruction says, they're going to be dragging the eggs and placing them in the respective nest based on the number that's assigned to that particular nest. And so this is a nice, fun activity to get your students engaged. So this is just one type of interactive slide that you can do. And this is your typical drag and drop. All right, so for this slide now, it would be, these type of slides would be ideal for students that can read or follow instructions. You can play around with this from the primary school level or high school level. So the students would be able to just click right here and type their names in. So if the pupil's name is John Brown, the student is able to type their name, and of course, Google Slide would automatically save it. So once they're finished with the slide, they don't have to click save because you would have posted this in whichever platform you're using to engage your students, whether it's Google Classroom or Edmodo, whichever platform you're using. The beautiful thing about Slide is it's easily integrated. So these students would follow the instruction, and I there's a clue here, so it would help them as it relates to what this word would be or the words, and they're able to rearrange. So I did this. This is actually a sample from my physics class. I used this with my fourth formers as an engagement activity, and they were able to decipher what the words are. It's actually vectors and scalars. So they're able to spell those words out, and they have total control as to the format, whether they want to do it horizontally or vertically. You can leave it to their imagination. All right, so this is another type of interactive slide that you can make, and it's a drag and drop, of course. So the students will be using this to label the different parts of the plant. So, they'll be able to play around with this, and they get the word list and they just use it to drag and drop. So, and this would be ideal again for high school and primary school teachers. So this is just showing you how versatile Google Slides is. Hold on, why this one giving me a problem? And of course, if your students, if they're using mobile devices such as their tablet or their cell phone, of course, they'll be able to drag and drop just the same. This is another type of activity that I used Google Slides to do, and this was for my chemistry class. So the students would be able to just use these and make models of different organic substances. And this one would represent the double bonds, so they can, use this and play around with it to make different molecules or compounds. If you're teaching them atoms, then you can also use something like this. So that's another idea as to what you can do with these types of slides. All right, so for my teachers now who are advanced with Google Slides, this would be another example of what you can do. This is actually a game, and I did this for maths, just for purpose of today's workshop, just so that you can see how complex you can create your drag and drop, or your how complex you can create your drag and drop, or whether you're doing an interactive slide. All right, so let me just put this in presentation mode. So this is actually a game. It's a maths game. So for my maths teachers, this is another idea. So what the students would do is, and of course you don't have to use this backdrop. I just did this because this was what I was feeling, so I just did something like this, but you can choose a more clip art kind of a backdrop to cater to whichever level students you are engaging. So the students will be subtracting two numbers. So the topic is there and the instruction is there. So they're going to answer each question to knock down the pins, and of course they're going to press play. Once they press play, the question comes up. If they get it wrong, then they will receive a prompt. So they should click the marker to go back, and until they answer the questions correctly. So these are the different answers that they can give. If they click it and they get the answers correct, then the pins would knock down the pins, and then they'll receive the prompt that it's correct. Then of course they will click on the teacher to proceed to the next question, and it continues just like that. If it's wrong, and then they continue until they get it right, and then they click on the teacher, they answer the next question. If they get it correctly, then it takes them to the last slide that says good job. So this is another way that you can organize or create your drag and drop to make a class more interactive and more fun. All right, so now that you have seen the different types of interactive slides that you can possibly make, Now it's time for you guys to learn how to do them. So the first thing that you're going to do once you have signed into your Gmail account, you're going to come right here to the top and click on this icon here. It's called the waffle icon. Hold on, give me a second. Let me just click off these extra stuff. All right, so all right, so you're going to click on the waffle icon here, then you're going to scroll down to Google Slides. This is just one way that you can access your slide, because you can access your slide from Google Drive as well. So once you have done that, remember you click on the waffle icon here. That's the icon with the dots that looks like a square. Then you're going to scroll down to slides, click on it. Once you have done that, you're going to click on blank slide. Right, so everybody should be here. So please ensure that you are following along. Let me go again. Click on the waffle icon, scroll down, click on slides, and then you're going to click on blank slide. So once you do that, it should take you right inside of Google Slide. The next step is to cancel or delete these text box that you're seeing. So how you do it, you just click on it and then click backspace, and that's how you delete it. So click on the box, the text box, click backspace, and that's how you get rid of it. So what this does is to just create a canvas for you to work with. If you want, you can give your slide a background depending on the type of slide that you're making. So for the first slide that I'm going to be making, I'm going to be using an outdoor kind of setting. So I'm going to show you what key terms you are supposed to use when you're searching for pictures, where you should go to access the different features of Google Slides. All right. So before I even get started into to anything too technical, for those persons who are not familiar with Google Slides, let me just do a brief run through. So the themes here, this section that you're seeing, it allows you to choose different backdrops for your slide. So if you'd like your slide to have a particular look, then you'll choose one of these. For now, I'm working with a blank slide because I'm building everything from scratch. All right, so this is a text box. So if you want to type a particular word, that's what you click and you place it on the slide and it allows you to type. If you want to insert an image, this is where you come. And so you can insert it from your computer. That is if the image is already stored on your computer, you can insert it. If you're searching from Google browser, then you search from the web. You can also access it from your drive as well as from your camera. So yeah, and these are the different shapes that you can work with. So we might this is a very important tab for you to know, because you might need these when you're sketching out your backdrop or your background. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is change the color of my slide. And there are two ways that we can do that. We can click on background here and change the color. And because I'm working with an outdoor kind of setting for this slide, you can change it to blue. and my slide, oops, my slide will have that color. Or I can click on the slide, right click on the slide, go to change background, and then choose the color that I would like. Of course, you can also insert images this way as well. So if you want an image on the slide that will cover the entire slide, then this is the way to do it. So I'm going to be choosing a color. Then I'm going to click done. The next step is to, I want to sketch out the grass and the soil for this particular slide. Of course, you could always go to Google search bar or click on insert here, then go to images and select an image from the web that would already have that sort of background, or you can learn how to do it from scratch, which is what I'm going to be showing you. So the next step is to go to the shape icon, click on it. I want a shape that is curvy. Of course, you have different types of shapes, right? But I'm working with this curvy kind of shape to create that uneven sort of background that will give me that desired appeal or look. Let me do that again. Hopefully it will stick this time. All right. So, all right, so I have my wavy pattern. So what I'm going to do now, these little arrows, these little shapes that you're seeing above the shape, so the circle and the square, it allows you to adjust the pattern. So you can play around with it. So you can make it larger, extend it to the slide, the entire slide, so that it looks more realistic. So that's how you adjust these things. For this part here, I'm going to pull this down a bit so that all the blue is covered. Extend this out a little. Oops, I think I went back too far. Because you want it to be in line with the slide so it looks natural. All right, put it down. Just that side as well. And I'm going to be changing this color to green. So how do I do that? I'm going to come to the top here, and where I see this container that's spilling something, the fill color, you're going to click on it and select the color. I'm going to be using green. So that would represent like the grass, etc. And of course, I want this to be a little bit higher up. So I'm just going to pull it up a bit. All right, so yeah, just keeping it basic, like a clip art kind of look. So next thing, you can add your sun and clouds and birds and all of that to make it fancy. All right, so now let's just look at some different ways that we can add some images to this slide to make it more creative and more realistic. So when you're searching for images online, you must use the word transparent in your search and PNG. What those do is that it limits the pictures that you're going to have access to, and allow you to gain access to images that don't have a background. So when you add it to your slide, it looks more realistic, it's more visually appealing. So all right, let's go to where you are going to which icon you're going to navigate in order to do that. So you can add images using the inserts tab here. So click on images. You can upload from your computer or you can search the web, as well as use Drive or your camera, the photos. Those are the possible places that you can search for pictures. But if you're looking for a particular type of picture online and you want it to be a transparent picture or PNG, and the PNG allows you to find animated kind of pictures or pictures that have a clip art feel to it. So I'm going to be searching the web. I'm looking for clouds that have a transparent background, and I would like for them to have a PNG clip art kind of feel based on the background that I'm using. So I'm going to click on that, and these are the images that I'm seeing coming up. All right, so I like this one. So I'm going to click on the image and then go to insert, click on insert. And so that's how I'll get the images there. So what you want to do now is to resize it so that it fits on the slide. So I'm going to resize, make the cloud a little bit smaller. And then what you can do now is to click on Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste. So you have multiple clouds there. Right? I think I'm gonna put it here. Because remember, yes, you're making an interactive slide, but you have to make it believable. So you have to create a background or a backdrop for that particular slide. And what I'm doing here is just a basic background, nothing too fancy. Next, I might add a sun. So I'm going to repeat the process, go back to images, go to search the web, and I'm going to remove cloud and white and just add sun. Then click enter, and I'm going to get some different images. So I can search and select one that I feel that is appropriate for what I'm trying to do. I like this one, so I'm going to insert it. Yeah, again, it has that clip art feel. So, I can play around with it. All right, so as you can see, I want to layer it so that I can cover that cloud that's there on the sun. So what I can do, I can click on the image, then right click, and then where you see after alt text, you're going to click on order. And so you're able to bring the image to front or bring forward. I'm going to click bring forward. I'm going to do it again. Right. So now I'm able to cover that little cloud there by doing it like that. And I can adjust that one. All right, so it looks like the sun is peeping out of the cloud. So those are some little tips and tricks that you want to get yourself acquainted with. Next, I might add some birds in the background to make it a little bit more believable. So same process again, remove sun, put birds. I'm gonna click this one with multiple birds, insert. And so I have birds in my background. I'm going to reduce the size of this. All right. So next step, I'm gonna add my tree. So again, going back to inserts, I'm gonna use a tree here. I'm gonna need an apple tree. So I'm gonna type in apple, and you can play around with different types of trees. All right, so I'm getting different images. The apple tree that I'm looking for this particular type of interactive slide would be a tree, or it doesn't even have to be an apple tree. You can just type in tree. I like this one. I don't want it to have any fruits on there. All right, so in Google Slides, sometimes when you're searching for certain images, you might not be able to use it because of copyright issues. So that's what happened a while ago. It's telling me that it's not available. So I would have to search for something else. Use another image, perhaps. All right, so I'm not seeing anything here that I like. So hold on. Hold on. So what you can do, you can type in Google search. So that's another way to find images if what you're searching for there is limited. All right, so here's one. Oh, but that has a background. All right. Let me see. So I'm just going to copy and paste it. Now, this is what I'm talking about. Hence the reason you need to search for transparent images, because you don't want this background there. So I'm going to delete that. And look again. Here's something that I might be able to use. Hopefully, I don't get anything with a background on it. It still has a background. All right. All right, let me just select this one, just for the interest of time. All right, so here's a tree that we can use. I'm gonna size this. I can move this more inland so it's more believable. Extend the tree up, give it some width. All right, so that's my tree, right? The next thing now is to put some fruits on it. Or better yet, I'm gonna put a basket here so that the tree, the fruit can be placed in the basket. So go back to insert, go back to images. I'm gonna type in apple, even though this isn't really an apple tree, but we're improvising. No, sorry, not apple, not ready for apple yet. Looking for basket. You want to ensure that the images that you're choosing are three-dimensional and not one-dimensional, because you want them to have some amount of depth to them so that the students can add whatever fruits that they're going to be removing from the tree into it, and it gives it a natural look. So that is what I am going for. Not seeing any basket here that I fancy, so I'm just going to type it in here. So I'll just open another browser, another window or another tab, and I'm searching there, and I can just copy and paste. So the same thing again, transparent has to be there. And you can add PNG if you like, so that you get something that looks more like a clip art. Okay, I'm liking this one. So I'm going to copy this, right click, click on copy, click on presentation, and then I'm going to come and paste it. Oops, all right, so this one don't have a background. I just assumed that it would based on how it appears. Okay. All right, let me try this one. All right, still no background. Still has a background on it. All right, let me go back to slide and see if I find something that I can work with just for the interest of time. And of course, these things can take a bit, you know, to find the right images, etc. So you can always scan through beforehand and save it to your computer. So when you have time, when you're creating these slides, you can always search, and once you find the images, you just save it in a particular folder so that it's easy for you to retrieve it. All right, so I'm working with this one. I want to ensure that it's proportional. So what I'm doing now is just adjusting the size. So all you have to do is just click on the shape, the square, and then pull it towards the basket or extend it out to adjust the size. All right, so I'm going to pull the basket close to the tree. All right, so now that I have what I would like my background to look like, maybe I can add one and two other things in the background. Maybe I can add children playing, whatever it is. But I'm just going to leave it like this. Now that I have the backdrop, if you realize when I click on these images, the square shape comes over them. So what I would want to do now is to eliminate that. So once the students are doing the drag and drop, these other pictures won't move and interfere with it. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to save this as a background. So whatever images that are now there, once you add the apples, and then once you add the apples, the students will be able to drag and drop it in the basket without moving anything else. If you don't save it as a background image, what will happen is other things that you don't want to move will move, and the students will get frustrated or irritated, especially if they're using mobile devices. It's going to be very difficult for them to play around with the slides. So once you have everything that you want for the background of your slide, you go ahead and save it as a background image. Do not save any features on the slide that you'd want the students to drag and drop. So add those features. Anything that you want them to drag and drop, add those last. So work out the background, how you'd like it to look. And then once you do that, save it as a PNG file, save it as a background image. So how do you do that? All right, so what you do next is go to File at the top, click on it. Then you're going to download this particular slide as a PNG. The PNG gives it a better look and a higher quality. That's the reason I'm using PNG. I'm going to click it. So right here at the bottom, you can see that it is saved. Now, what I'm going to do now is to click enter. Click on the slide and click enter. and it will produce a blank slide. I'm going to remove the text box from these images. And then I'm going to right click on the slide, click on change background, click on choose image. Now that I saved it, it would be in downloads of my laptop. So I'm going to click on upload, then browse. And then I'm going to be retrieving that picture from my downloads because I just downloaded it. Open. And that would be my picture. So I can go ahead now. So click done, and then you can go ahead now and delete the first slide that had the other images there that you'd be able to move around. So I can delete that one. All right, so when I click on this, you realize nothing is moving. Nothing at all is moving. So the next step now is to add the last feature, and this would be the apples that I want to drag and drop, the students to drag and drop. So the next step, go to insert again, click on search the web, and remove baskets, add apples, click enter, and then I can choose from these apples that are there. I'm liking this little one here. So I'm going to click it, and a tick will appear, and then I click insert. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to just adjust the size of the apple. So I want it to be small enough so that it can hold in the basket. All right, and then I'm gonna place them on the tree. All right, not gonna use this one, not looking realistic at all because the leaf is still on it. So I'm gonna choose something else. All right, let me try this one. All right, this one looks more like a clip art as well. All right, so there I have my apple. So what I'm going to do, click Control C, then Control V, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So now I have 9 apples and they're all the same size. Instead of just adding them one at a time, I just click Control C, then Control V, so that I'm able to copy and paste the apples. All right, I think this tree have too many apples. I'm gonna delete some of them. Of course, I could have adjusted the size again to make it a little bit smaller, but this can work for now, just for demonstration purposes. All right, so now we have the apples on the tree. You can add the apples in the basket. So first for this particular slide, I'm going to show you how to add an audio file to slides like these for students who cannot read. So the next step now is to open a new browser. All right, so I'm going to search from this one. All right, so you're going to type in online voice recorder. Let me see, the one that I use. Let me see if I remember what's the name of it. Oh, all right, so 1313 apps, online voice recorder. That will allow you to record your audio files. So once you do that, you can just click on it and that page will come up. So 13 apps, online voice recorder. You can't record directly from slides. So if you go to insert and you click on audio, it will direct you to your drive. So you would have to already download or voice record whatever it is you want and then upload it from there. So one way to do it on your laptop is to use an online voice recorder. So that's what I'm doing here. So once I click on online voice recorder, I'm just going to click the start button and then record the audio. So click, not the start button, click the mic. On the slide, remove the apples from the tree and add them to the basket. And it's that simple. So once I do that, I can play it back. On the slide, remove the apples from the tree and add them to the basket. So if I'm pleased with this audio, I can go ahead and save it. It will automatically be downloaded to my drive. Not to my drive. It will automatically download to my laptop. So in order to retrieve this file now, because you have to, it's Google Slides, so you have to send it from your desktop to your drive so that you can add it to the slide, right? What you're going to do is go to your drive. So you can just open a new tab. So first you have to ensure you save it though. So once you save it, it will download here. I'm going to click this off. You can tell me if I'm going too fast or if you don't understand, that's fine. All right, so now that you save the audio on your desktop or on your laptop, because remember, once we had finished recording, we clicked save and then it automatically downloaded. So that's where you're going to go to retrieve it. So next step is open a new tab or a new browser, go to the waffle icon, click on it, go to drive, click on drive. Next, you're going to select whichever folder you want to put it in. I have an audio folder, so I'm going to be uploading it here. Then I'm going to click new, then file upload. Then I'm going to go to wherever you store it. So that would be in downloads. And this would be the file, the audio file. I'm going to click on it, and then it's going to appear in blue. Then I'm going to click on open, and that's how you'd be able to upload that file. So now that the file has been uploaded to my drive, of course, you can always rename the file if you want to search for the recording by a name to make it easier, you can do that. So now that I've added the file, the audio file to my drive, I'm going to go back to my slide. Then I'm going to click on Insert, then Audio. Of course, the most recent recording that I just uploaded will appear first. So I'm going to click on it and then click Select. So the audio icon will appear, so you can adjust it to where on the screen you'd like for it to be. I'm going to put mine there. Then you have some settings here that you can play around with. So you can allow the audio to play on click, which means the students, once a student click anywhere on the slide, it will play. Or you can click on automatically. So once the slide is opened, then it will automatically, the instruction will automatically play. So I'm going to select that one and then play the audio for you to hear. On the slide, remove the apples from the tree and add them to the basket. All right, so that's the audio recording. So now the students would be able to remove it. Of course, you can add more to this particular type of drag and drop, whether it is you would like for them to add a specific amount of apples. So it all depends on what you're trying to accomplish. So this is one way to do it. This basket is a little bit too small. All right, so there are my apples. All right, so for the teachers of primary or secondary now, let's look at another way that we can create slides, or another type of slides that we can create, right? So for this particular slide, it's going to be one of those slides where the students can label a particular diagram. So the first thing you'd want to do is decide what your backdrop is going to be. I am going to use a three-dimensional kind of background so that it's more visually appealing and more realistic to those students. So for this slide, I'm going to be working with a floor and wall background. So that will give me that 3D projection that I want. So I'm going to click on Insert again, go to Image, search from Web. So once you get a hang of it, it's basically the same things you're repeating. So for this, I'm going to just select floor and wall background. I'm not going to select transparent or anything like that because it's an entire background that I want and not just an image that I'm working with. And I would prefer this to be like in a lab setting. So let's see what comes up. Okay, so these are the floor and wall I'm getting. That's fine. All right, so let me try Google to see if I might see anything better. Floor and wall background. Science lab. So right away, I'm liking this one. This one looks nice. I also like this one. So you have several floor and wall that you can play around with if you don't want to build yours from scratch. And that is getting a particular background, adding the different items there. So you can select from pre-made backgrounds. So here's one. And this is a chemistry lab. All right. I need something that has enough space there. All right. This one is trademark there, so I'm not going to be using that. You want something that has enough space so the students can drag and drop and work. So not too much items should be. You should not have a lot of items in the background for this one. So I'm just searching. I mean, you can always build yours from scratch if you want, but I'm looking for something real quick and fast right now. So let's see. All right. I saw something that could work, and I think I might have lost it. All right. Just for the interest of time, let me work with this one, even though it's a chemistry lab setup kind of thing. So same process. I'm gonna paste it here and then just extend it to match the size of the slide. All right, so now that I've done that, I want to add my skeleton. I'm going to add a skeleton here and ask the students to label it. All right, so what I might do, I might just leave some space for the instruction and for them to write their names, etc. All right, go to insert image, same process. Now I'm going to need a PNG or a transparent. Transparent. Transparent PNG. All right, so I went ahead and added the skeleton, but I'm not liking that one. So I'm going to insert another. I'm going to scroll and see what else I can find. Oh, maybe I need to be specific. All right, so let me try this one. All right, good. All right, so this one is actually 3D. All right, so I'm gonna put this little fellow over here. Make it a little bit larger. Bring it to the front. So what I'm doing is just resize the slide, resize the image. Oh, all right, so should be here. All right, so here I'm gonna put in a text box. So I'm going to click on T here, and I'm going to draw a text box. So just click left click on your laptop where you have the mouse pad, and so it will allow you to draw or to fit your text box into whatever space you're working with. Oh, come on. All right, let me try this again. All right, it's good. So I'm going to give this a color, maybe a different background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on fill and then choose a color. I mean, you can give the students instructions here. It all depends on what you want to do. All right. Good. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the words here for them to label. But before I do that, I need to draw some arrows to highlight some areas that I'd like for them to label. So in order to do that, right beside the shape icon, you have this line. So you're going to click on it, and then it will give you different types of lines that you can use, whether you want it to be curved, etc. So I'm going to use line and then extend it to where I would like the students to label. Of course, you can click on the line and then you can adjust the thickness of the line, and also you can play around with the color by clicking the pencil. So if I want the line to be green, then I can do that. Of course, you don't have to make your lines this thick. Then I can just copy and paste. So that's Control C, Control V to get more lines, and then just put them at the different areas. Adjust the length. Um, Control C, Control V. So yeah, I'm just working with those three main parts there. And then here I can add another text box. So I can change the color of that to white, put name here. Students can type the names in, and I can adjust this. I can add flowers. I can add a lot of things. Be creative with how you set it up to decorate like the outside of it. And then now I can add my labels. So what I can do, I can use text boxes or shapes to add my labels. It's easier to just work with a text box because you just add the color for the background, and you're able to just readily type in there. So for all of these, I'm gonna let them be gray. So skull, and I can do another text box, etc. So of course, remember that you would have to save this first as a PNG file, and then you do this section here. So because I already went through it already with the first slide in details, I'm just really running through the second one so that you have an idea as to what you can do and how you can play around with it. So we have the skull. I'm going to put ribs or rib cage for the next one. Same procedure, fill it with the color that I like. Rib cage. And I'm going to put femur. All right, so now the students would be able to just drag these across. Once you save this again and label the respective parts. All right, so now that you have seen how you can go about creating these beautiful interactive slides, it's time for you guys to work in groups and create your own slides.